Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, E-Steam: The Sands of Time. It's action and adventure in ancient Egypt in this terrific teen time travel romance. Get your copy of E-Steam: The Sands of Time at your favorite online bookseller today. A couple of weeks ago, independent publisher Manuel Godoy, who runs the Black Sands Entertainment, went on the ABC series Shark Tank. Now, this is a big deal for a black owned independent publisher because oftentimes independent black owned publishers don't get an opportunity to be on a nationally televised show and pitch their company to these investors like the Sharks. And your Manuel Godoy pitched his Black Sands Entertainment and got a $500,000 deal with Kevin Hart and Mark Cuban. And I want to congratulate Manuel for going out here and getting that six-figure deal from Kevin Hart and Mark Cuban. And I'm hoping that the money and the Sharks help him towards his goal of creating that episode of Black Sands. Now, Manuel has been working hard on that episode of Black Sands because he wants to graduate from creating comics to animation. And this is something I saw him working on when I went to the Schaumburg for the Black Comic Book Festival. It was there that I picked up the latest issue of Black Sands and the DVD. And both of those comics and the DVD were absolutely fantastic. The DVD showed how the animated series would look absolutely fantastic and the progress he was making towards getting that animated series put together. Now, animated series, they cost a couple of $1 million an episode to make, and that was one of the things he was working on as related to Black Sands even before he came on Shark Tank. And now he's been on Instagram going out here showing us how he's going out here getting investors and also working on different types of animation, including hand-drawn animation and showing us CGI models of the characters. So he's been working hard behind the scenes to get his characters to a larger marketplace, and the deal with the Sharks definitely will help him towards moving forward with the publications of Black Sands comics and be able to produce episodes of the animated series. So I was very happy to see this brother go out here and make that deal because he, again, has been working hard in the trenches, going out to those comic cons, going out to those shows, pitching his comic, and pushing and persevering. And that gives creators like myself hope that you can just go out here and do this on your own. Because the only way I see it to get positive black content like Black Sands to the marketplace is if a creator goes out here on their own and goes out here and presents their own material, because you're not going to get support from mainstream publishers, which are primarily controlled by white females who really don't want you to see a positive image of black characters and definitely don't want you to see black Egyptian gods. That's the whole theme as related to Black Sands, and he does other, and it's one of the best comics that he produces. And he has other comics out there that are equally great, but Black Sands is the flagship, and Black Sands gives us a look at Egyptian gods from a black perspective with a little bit of Dragon Ball Z, and that's what makes for some very compelling comics. And I'm hoping that this again helps them be able to go out here and expand their catalog and then also put together a great animated series. So I look at the success of Manuel Godoy and Black Sands, and it's one of those things that inspires me to keep going out here and being creative. It's one of those things that motivates me to keep going out here and working on my characters like Isis and John Haynes and E-Steam and other characters like Matilda Crowley and Lilith Graves, because I look at the success he got going out here and taking things into his own hands and going out here and pitching his own material, getting his own books out there, and building and creating his own audience. Because when it comes down to the mainstream publishing and comic book industries, it's looking like they're not really interested in the growing African American comic book market, the growing African American fantasy market, and the growing African American science fiction market. No, many of the people who are a part of those industries don't want anything to do with black characters, but we can go out here and create our own marketplace, and that is one of the things that Black Sands is doing, carving a path towards creating its own marketplace, the same way I'm out here creating my own marketplace with the SJS Direct imprint. Now, what I was really disappointed about as related to Black Sands is the lack of coverage that Black Sands has received from your comic book YouTubers. Now, your comic book YouTubers, they will sit there and celebrate the success of a white guy like an Ethan Van Sciver or a Richard C. Meyer when they go out here and get a six-figure crowdfunding for a Cyberfrog or a Jawbreakers, but they won't say a thing about your Black Sands getting almost $500,000 and a deal with people like Mark Cuban and your Kevin Hart. No, they have not made a single video or a live stream to discuss the success of Black Sands. No, comic book YouTube has basically been silent regarding that success. Now, black fantasy YouTube channels like Chris House, they have talked about Black Sands, and I wanted to talk about Black Sands when I first heard about the deal. Unfortunately, I was really busy working on many of my own other projects to get a chance to make that video. But I always wanted to make that video, and I now have the chance to make that video, and I want to congratulate all the people who put together Black Sands for the success of their deal with Shark Tank, because that inspires me to go out here and continue pushing towards getting my big break with the SJS Direct imprint and going out here and creating other kinds of projects like the recent comic I did with Bill Walko, Easting No Good Deed, and the upcoming John Haynes at Death's Door comic. I know that there is an audience for black comics and black fantasy, and with the success of Black Sands, I know we can continue to build on that momentum and continue building that audience, because we already saw with the success of Black Panther, there is an audience for black comics, black fantasy, and black science fiction, and it's all up to black creators like Black Sands and myself and Chris House and many others to go out here and make those concepts into comics and other products, because there's a large audience of black readers out there looking to get those products, and there's a big market that's looking like it's burgeoning and getting ready to grow. And it's up to us to go out here and continue building on that momentum, because if it's like, if you build it, people will come, and it takes time to build, but we're seeing that there's a growing audience for black comics, and Black Sands shows us that there is a rock-solid foundation to build a great black fantasy and science fiction market. Now, if you want to try some of my action-packed African-American fantasy fiction, like the ISIS series, the Easting series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, you can find all of those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. And if you want to try my first comic, Easting No Good Deed, you can find it on Kindle for 99 cents right now. And if you want to see me do more African American fantasy and science fiction videos, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle, Vampires Stalk the Darkness of the Eternal Night. Get your copy of Eternal Night in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com.